our plan, the goal is adoption. Our plan is to continue to do concurrent planning. What we'd really like to do is see that report from Mr. Hughes, because I think it would be tremendously helpful in terms of further planning and further figuring out what services and what needs to be put in place, and an approach that maybe we're not thinking of.
And so we're not ready to schedule it for a trial?
Well, we could...
At this point?
At this point, I think we would like to see that report before we schedule it for trial. We could schedule it for a pre-trial perhaps, but I believe that report would be vital to have, especially since it's so close to getting.
Okay. Ms. Everett.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, it's been, as my sister stated, it's been a little bit all over the place with this case. I know that when we were last in court, there was some time lapse with the mother being in treatment evaluation and then being out. There was some confusion recently with the child. I guess it was an up in the air question about the child traveling to Mexico with the foster mom. At the same time, mom scheduled for the child to go to Great Wolf Lodge. It caused a lot of confusion because I got a notification. I, was okay with the child traveling because she has traveled with the foster mom before, but the dates were identical. And so there was the child's believing that she's going to go on an unsupervised trip with the mom. And I know that we have done court orders before about not having conversations about things and having these promises with the child. And it's created chaos. I know in the report it talks about the mom gave $300 gift card to the child. My understanding from the foster mom that was not known, or it was not told to the foster mom. So the child came home with this gift card. The foster mom was not aware of this. To buy certain, it wasn't just buy any clothes, it was buy specific types of clothes, dresses and stockings that the mom wants the child to wear. And if you read the report, in earlier reports, the child indicates she does not want to just wear dresses and says actually that
she likes to wear pants.
Yes, but the gift card was for the child to purchase dresses specifically. I agree with the court, the question about adoption. I don't see a lot of movement toward the goal of adoption more than I see the movement toward the goal of reunification. I can see the confusion on both the child's part and the mom's part, because while the written goal is adoption, the movement has been toward reunification. And my conversations with my client has gone from, I want to be with my mom, to I just want to stay where I'm at so I can have consistency, and I'm not worried about if I am going. I don't want the promise that I'm going to my mom. I don't want to have the conversation and then it not happen. We had this conversation last time in the court that it's not just mom, it's everyone. Until there's a solid plan, she's 11 years old. This up and down with her is counterproductive to everything that we're all trying to do, and that's the best interest of her and make sure that she's protected. And so trying to figure out how do we do this so that she has realistic expectations. And so I think at one point she really put up a block and just said, I will stay where I'm at because at least I know that this is guaranteed. I know that I can be here every day. I know I can wake up, I'm going to go to school, and I'm going to come home. And I don't have to worry about whether or not I'm going to see my mom, whether or not this visit's going to be canceled, this call's going to be canceled, or if I'm ever going to live with my mom. And then that switches when the visits start happening again, the calls start happening more frequently, and she gets excited, as all children should, because she's going to be with her mom. And then it stops again for, things that happen outside of this court. And then she goes back into this place again. There was some things that happened. I don't know exactly what happened. I did speak to my sister about the therapy. There was some disruption, some minor interruptions with the therapy that happened because she's back into, I want to do everything my mom's telling me to do. And so I don't have an answer, but I'm very concerned that there's not a consistent flow of how this case is going. And I feel like there's a lot of information being followed to this child who's being I think everyone's giving way too much information. And we need to have a clear direction or just stop giving a lot of direction to this child of what she needs to do. If they're going to have these phone visits, these are the phone visits. No supervised visits. The child should have never known about Grace Wolf Lodge. Don't know who let that be told to her, why she even believed that she can have an unsupervised visit with her mom, that was even a possibility. So she went from thinking that she was going to, being okay. She talked to the foster mom about going and traveling to Albuquerque, was happy about that. And then she's introduced to being away with her mom for a weekend. Of course she wants to do that. And now doesn't want to go to Albuquerque and is full on, I want to be with my mom. And that was never an option for her. And so that just creates, and I don't know, it just creates chaos for her and her foster mom for something that was not realistic. And so I really want to be clear when there are visits that they have to be, I know that there was a hiccup. I spoke to my sister about this. There was a hiccup at some point. There was someone who supervised visits, and mom was allowed to have conversations that she was not allowed to have, had been court ordered not to have with the child. She was allowed to talk about more than what she should have, and that just caused a divide to a point where the child even made a comment to the foster mom that she did not want the foster mom to talk to her about her mother because she believes that the foster mom believes her mother to be racist. That comment's made. We then get a motion that the court has also received a few days later that states that she wants her child to return home so that she can fight for African American rights, which absolutely made no sense. But it went in line to what I'm getting calls about from the foster mom, where there's these conversations that should not be happening with this 11-year-old, and now we're getting motions on it. So I don't know when I read the report and I hear that these conversations are appropriate, I don't know how appropriate they are when I'm getting calls from foster moms about what Vera is coming home and her conversations and what she is saying to foster mom after her visits or after phone conversations. So I know that there was a hiccup. I'm hoping that this is now over and that hopefully mom understands that while she has a goal, her child needs to not be a part of that conversation because she is too young and she has to, we don't want it to be so contentious that Vera wants to move again. She's been in 3 foster homes since this has been going on. She's already had enough trauma. And I just wish the process would go where it needs to go. And the decision about, or the conversations, no matter who it is, about going back to mom or not going back to mom, not happen with this child. Because it does have an impact on where she is living. It does have an impact on how she is talking to the people she's living with and how her day-to-day goes.
Yeah, we are in agreement with that. We try to monitor these conversations, but we also are under the belief, and I know that Attorney Everett and I have had many conversations about this, that there seems to be communication that's happening between the mother and the child that is outside of our purview and ability to control or to even know about. And Attorney Everett and I have had this conversation many times because she brought it to my attention. And the workers have also tried to work within the parameters. There's all sorts of technology that we believe is being used in terms of iMessage, which I know that Attorney Everett brought to my attention, emails, Gmails, different things that are set up, different devices that are given. So we are trying to monitor what's going on. And sometimes it's hard to do it quickly enough because mother says things and then it's hard to stop the conversations. But putting that aside for a second, there's also these conversations that we aren't privy to that we're trying to monitor and manage that we can't actually, as I keep mentioning, because Attorney Everett and I have had so many conversations about this because it's part of our frustrations in terms of this happening outside of all of our purview and our ability to monitor.
I would say, Your Honor, I believe I mentioned this a while ago, there is an email that they can communicate on that is one email and they're communicating. There are ways that they're communicating. I know that, and there's no way that we can go around or stop that. I know that there have been safeguards that DCF has tried to put in place, and mom continuously tries to go around them. It's just creating a lot of chaos in this young child's life. And despite the court orders, it seems to continuously happen. And because mom does not have an everyday, all-day pulse on the child, she's not seeing it. Even when she arrived at the school, the impact of showing up at the school, not all the children in the school understood that Vera was in foster care. And so the arrival of her mother at the school, that impact, having that conversation with her, that was a huge thing. There's a lot of things that I also, as the attorney, I have concern for, and I'm looking forward to this report because there's a lot of I statements in what mom wants and not really recognizing the negative impact that it's been having on Vera throughout this process. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Kurbatzky.
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you have to say?
I'm still waiting to hear why we have a court, because to have a care and protection case, there should be neglect. And there was
Ms. Kurbatzky, this is well past neglect. This is now at a stage where we're trying to determine what our next step is going to be. Are we
Well,
going to
according to
have a
the
trial?
law.
Let me finish.
Yes,
Are
Your
we
Honor.
going to have a
Of
trial?
course.
Are we doing adoption? Are we doing reunification? We waiting on a report? I'm asking you, and I read in the report that was given to me today, that you have finally stated that you would rather just do what you're asked to do so that you can get Vera back. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct. And because we are living in a civilized country.
Do you know what you need to do to at least try to get Vera back to your custody?
Yes, I received tasks from Monica Cable to accomplish, and I accomplished them as I accomplished tasks in July. And
I don't want to hear about July. I want to hear about whether or not have you sent that back to Ms. Cable, or have you talked with Ms. Cable about completing those tasks?
of course, I completed all tasks, and
That's not what I asked. I said, have you talked with Ms. Cable about sending her the completed tasks, or what you're doing to complete the tasks?
I'm confused, Your Honor. I think I answered the question. Yes, I spoke with Ms. Cable about completing the tasks, and I completed them.
Okay. So when if I ask Ms. Cable if all the tasks are completed, she's going to say yes.
I don't know what she's going to say. I have no control what people say, and I still don't understand why we have a court.